I'm usually talking to you about the housing market here in Morgan Hill, but as you're researching living here, you're probably wondering, what makes Morgan Hill special? Well, it's not only our community, but it's also the entrepreneurship of our small businesses. And I had the chance to talk to the owner of one of them, Tommy Palmer of Palmerinos, an Italian cottage food business where you can find homemade pasta, fresh pasta sauce, meatballs, raviolis, cannolis, and I'm sure lots of other stuff right here in Morgan Hill. Stay tuned to find out more about what Palmerinos is all about, and stick around to the end of the video to find out where Tommy sees his business going. So, hi everyone, this is Marby Lee with Remax Realty Partners in Morgan Hill, and today I am talking with Tommy Palmer from Palmerinos. You probably have seen his stuff on social media or heard about it from your friends, and I am lucky enough to talk to him today, and we're going to learn a little bit more about what Palmerinos is all about. How are you doing today, Tommy?
I'm doing well. Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm glad you could be here. I'm excited to talk to you and learn more. So first question, tell me about Palmerino, what's it about? And tell me about where the name came from. I kind of have an idea, but tell me more about it.
Yeah, so basically this all started after my grandma, my mom's mom, passed in 2017. I was living in Santa Cruz at the time and didn't really have the clearest idea on what I wanted to do, just career-wise and, long-term with my life. But when she passed, I wanted to be closer to my family. And it was at that point that the thought of opening up some kind of Italian food-related business came into my head. And I was working on it, and basically came up with kind of like a scrappy business plan. And I was talking to various building owners within Morgan Hill, members of the Downtown Association and whatnot. And the feedback that I was getting at that time was positive. People liked the idea of, I wanted to bring in like an Italian deli specialty shop in Morgan Hill. But the little bump I kept running into was that I've never been a chef. I had no kitchen experience professionally, nor had I ever owned my own business. Within the food industry, I'd been on the management side of things, or with my first few jobs, which were all at restaurants in Morgan Hill, I was a busser. And so after hearing that enough times, I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna go get some culinary training, and thought to myself, where better to learn Italian food than in Italy? So I started doing research and came upon the Italian Culinary Institute, which is down in Calabria. And it was a school that was started in the 90s by Chef John Nocita. And honestly, it blew my expectations clear out of the water. I learned way more in that school, in that program, than I ever really imagined I was going to learn. Covering everything from charcuterie to cheese making to obviously pasta, haute cuisine, wine pairing, gelato making. We covered many aspects of the Italian cuisine, and it was hard not to get excited to want to bring all of that back to Morgan Hill and do something with it.
That sounds fantastic. I mean, that's like everything.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so when I came back, I attended that program in 2019, and when I came back, as soon as I could, I started my business.
So tell me how long was that training? And actually, I'm curious now because I'm watching that Stanley Tucci Searching for Italy on.
Oh yeah.
So how long was the program, and where exactly, what part of Italy was that program?
The program was 3 months, highly intensive. Most of the time it was, close to 7 days a week, 9 to 5 kind of thing. We lived on site. The school is actually housed within a hotel, and so we were living in the hotel rooms. The location was way down at the bottom of the boot. It was it's on the coast, in Montepione, and kind of by Soverato and whatnot. Very, very slow Italy. I don't know how else to describe it. It's a little. It's not as wealthy. You would go, and I loved it. It felt like real Italy. There was. I got to live as a local, go to shops, go to the market and whatnot, and it was just a very slow, comfortable lifestyle.
So down there, remind me, because I'm thinking about Italy. So it's right on the coast, or is there water around part of that? Are you on the sea, or is there more land surrounding? I don't remember my Italian geography that well.
Yeah, if you could imagine looking at the boot, it would be like on the very bottom. And so we would be in class, and you could overlook the ocean. It's up on a hilltop that's right on the coast. And it was about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hour drive to take the ferry to get over to Sicily. So it's way down in the south. Right.
So I would think then you probably have a lot of access to seafood. Is there a lot of fishing down in that area?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Really good seafood.
Oh, I bet. Oh, I'm sure that just only made it better, just having access to probably fresh. Of all sorts.
Yeah. All the food is just phenomenal because it's real food. It's not processed. It's in season. It was like we would go to the market weekly, and we were there like enough within 2 various seasons to kind of see the rotation of produce coming in. And you can just see how that influences local cuisine. If that's all they have to cook with, that's what they have to cook with, and that's what basically determines their dishes. But yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, no, that sounds cool to just be able to have all that access to just different fresh food. So tell me more about your love of food and cooking. I think we kind of got a feel for that from what you were describing earlier, but tell us a little more about that.
So right now I'm a cottage food operation, which means I operate out of a household. Products I sell are primarily pastas. My business right now has 3 components. I sell product, but you could also hire me as essentially a private chef, and I can cater events or do on-site pasta making classes where I'll bring all the ingredients and equipment to the host house and teach them and their family or friends how to make pasta, and then I turn that into a dinner for them. And so, I've got, dried pastas. I do various ravioli. I've got various sauces, meatballs, lasagna, pizza dough, various breads, cannoli, tiramisu. So that's where I'm at right now. The long-term goal, once I'm able to get into a space, because once I'm in a commercial kitchen, the product that I can offer and sell widens, because it all comes down to licenses and permits and whatnot.
Sure.
But, 2 of the things that were my favorite areas of food to study while I was in school were charcuterie and cheese making. So I would love to be able to actually sell that. I've done it for personal use. Like this past winter, we had enough of appropriate weather going on where I hung a bunch of salumi and salami in my garage and cured it. And that was a lot of fun. It's just cool to watch that process. It's slow, but the food that you get afterward is just incredible.
Oh my gosh. That sounds great. You know, a storefront, we want.
Yeah. One of my slabs of pancetta just finished the other week, and so my wife and I have been using it on various dishes and whatnot, and it's just a lot of fun.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, you're literally talking about meat and salt. Like you can't get more simple than that. I don't put nitrates and nitrites in it and whatnot, and so it's the way it should be. It's the way it's done in the old world.
So I don't know. I'm just curious now. What kind of shelf life does that have then? When it's that fresh and you don't add all the stuff that you think about necessarily with commercial type salami. What is that like?
Yeah.
That last?
It still has a long shelf life. Basically what you're doing is you're putting enough salt into it to where bacteria can no longer grow in the environment. And what over time the salt draws moisture out of the meat. And so once you've achieved a certain weight loss, at that point, the shelf life is really long. I mean, initially that was the reason behind curing meat or, other foods was because you could take it on a long voyage on a boat, right? Or take it with you on a long trek to another country when you're riding on horse or something.
Right.
So yeah, you could have the meat for a long time.
Cool.
Yeah.
So then, you said that's sort of your vision. What kind of time frame is it? Just you're waiting for the right space, or you've got just a plan in mind and it's just somewhere down the line?
Yeah, right now it's waiting for the space and getting the finances in order. Depending if there's a space that has an existing kitchen, that's a lot cheaper because putting a kitchen in is a lot of overhead.
Yeah.
And I've talked to building owners in Morgan Hill through different parts of Morgan Hill that have options of various setups, either a complete shell where you have to put everything in yourself, including you'll probably have to put walls up, you got to put all the kitchen equipment in, you're probably going to have to put a bathroom in, and so you go that route and you're talking about a lot of overhead. If I were to move into a space that was already a food establishment that had the kitchen and whatnot, that's definitely going to be beneficial. So I am looking. I'm actually going to be sending out I'm going to be posting about a survey that I'm hoping to get as much feedback through as possible. Everybody talks about location and how important it is, but at the end of the day, Morgan Hill is still small. I know it can take a while to get from one end to the other depending on traffic, but there's a pretty stark difference in rent prices when you're on the outskirts of town versus more central. So it's weighing all the pros and cons and trying to make the best investment decision. It's a commitment. It's scary.
Oh yeah.
I basically went through all of my savings just to pay for tuition to go to school. So coming back, it was like starting with a bank account of like $100.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Build up since then, and I'm trying to get it right.
Do you see what you want to do as a storefront, or is it a restaurant, or is it both? Like what are you kind of looking at?
It would be, I would call it a storefront. Most of the time when I talk about this idea with people, most everyone I know has been to either Antipasto in Eastside San Jose or La Villa in Willow Glen, and that's what they compare it to, which is justifiable. But I'm hoping that the products that I offer, most of them are made in-house as opposed to just reselling already made goods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I'm not going to make my own olive oil. I don't have that kind of land, but you know, you can come in and get actual good olive oil, real olive oil, and various other ingredients to make your dishes. But then, you know, the products that I make myself, and it's a specialty shop.
Yeah, no, definitely sounds like it. Sounds delicious. Oh my gosh, that would be so great to have something like that, you know, go nearby, because it was just such good food, so delicious. Yeah. So, kind of last question, your love of food and cooking, like, where did that come from? Is it, I'm guessing it's a family thing, but tell me more about that, kind of where that all came from.
It all comes down to family. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to say that my family, and not just my immediate family, but I'm talking all my aunts, uncles, grandparents, cousins, we're all really, really close. And I essentially credit that to food. You know, it's what's always brought us around the table together. It's what is pretty much behind every time we're gathering. There's always a meal. And it's been like that my entire life. And it's just what I'm used to, you know, and the dishes that have been passed down through generations is the foundation of my business. You know, it kind of relates back to being inspired after my grandma passed to start this. But yeah, and I just love food. You know, I love making it. I love thinking of how to make it and creative ways to go about it. I love eating. It's just fun. Especially good homemade Italian food. Oh my gosh, that sounds so good. So I'm sure that's like it just great. So when I was in school, my classmates over time learned how much I love to eat. So if they didn't want to finish their plate, they would just give it to me.
There you go.
And so I was eating just copious amounts of food.
I was going to say, doing all that cooking, for me, like if I eat a bowl of pasta and I can see, 3 pounds on the scale, that must have been something, in that for 3 months, eating all this great food. And then I get to eat, some of it. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think I weighed myself once. We were at a farm and I saw a scale that they used to weigh their sheep. And I stepped on and I tried, you got to convert everything from kilograms, right? But yeah, I want to say at that point, I think that was 2 months into the program, I had gained, 15, 16 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. But it was pretty really good food. I was going to say, really good food. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, it was the best.
Oh my gosh. Well, Tommy, that all sounds so wonderful. Thank you so much for sitting down with me and talking about your plans, everything that you've done for this.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Having it somewhere in town here. I can't wait to get some really fresh, yummy Italian food locally.
Yeah. I don't think I answered your question about the name.
Oh, no. Tell me more tell us about the name.
So, yeah, the name, it wasn't the original name. The original name, again, just to honor my grandma who had passed, her maiden name was DiMicheli. And so the original name was Deli DiMicheli. But when I was in culinary school, Chef John was just talking about businesses in Italy. And when business owners in Italy are proud of their product, whether it's food or anything that they're making, they put their name on it, and they want people to know that when they see that name, they affiliate it with that family and they affiliate it with quality product. And so at that point I started thinking, how can I incorporate my last name? And my last name is English from my dad's dad's side. But my mom's maiden name is Canino. And so I decided to blend the two to make Palmerino. But what's also funny is by saying that, it also I mean, if you were to like do a botched translation, it means little Palmer.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm the shortest in my family.
Oh.
So it's kind of a joke in that way. But yeah, that's how the name came about.
Oh no, that's cool. That's totally cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this. I really appreciate your time and telling us all about it. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing you get out of the store. Of course, you can get Tommy's food now. Why don't you tell us how people can get in touch with you if they are interested in finding out more about what you offer, or if they'd like to order something? How can they get in touch with you?
So you can always reach out to me by phone. My phone number is 408-612-6386. If you prefer email, it's simply tommy@palmerinos.com. Or you can find me on Instagram and Facebook by searching for Palmerinos. And, if you want to use Facebook Messenger or message me through Instagram, that's totally fine as well. And I'm also on the Morgan Hill Takeout page, which I don't know who made that, but thank you very much. It helped get the word out about my business this whole past year through COVID. So it was actually really beneficial.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tommy. I really appreciate it. And this is Marby Lee with Remax Realty Partners in Morgan Hill. So take care, everyone, and we will see you soon. Thanks.